Chathaoirleach, I just want to say that there are two motions before the House being discussed at the moment, but one of them will be taken, and if the other is, if one of them is taken, the likelihood is that the other will not be taken. And that structure is forced upon us by what happened in this House approximately 6 months ago. Members of this House, particularly newer members of the House, should know that on St. Bridget's Day 2018, Leo Varadkar came in here and promised us a vast raft of reforms. Every single one of those reforms he abandoned and betrayed, and none of them have happened at all. Even, as you know, Chathaoirleach, the one in relation to the European Union statutory instruments has collapsed for the time being, at any rate, due to the attitude taken by the government and its legal advisor. But one of the things that he came into this House and said that he wanted to bring about was that there would be a secret ballot among members of this House when the positions of Chathaoirleach and Leas-Chathaoirleach came to be decided, as is the case in Dáil Éireann. And he promised that on that occasion, and on foot of that, a number of us worked with the assistance of the staff of the House to craft an elaborate standing order, both in the English and Irish languages, dealing with this issue, and to put in place a system whereby every member of this House, when it comes to choosing its officers, could choose freely and away from the party whip and away from government decisions and away from caucus decisions, could choose freely whether she or he believed that one or other candidate or one of a number of candidates was the correct person to be elected to those offices. And I regret to say that that standing order came before a committee of this House, the Committee of Procedures and Privileges, and was without explanation simply cast aside. Nobody even gave a reason as to why it shouldn't happen. It was just simply at that meeting just swept aside. And a motion was put down by the Seanad Independent Group to amend standing orders before the last general election to bring it about in this House. And again, it was just voted down by the government parties, the Greens, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil at the time, without any real explanation. And I just want to say at this stage that that being the case, we have two excellent candidates before us, two really good candidates, Senator Byrne and Senator Flynn. They are very good candidates with their own merits, and doubtless there could have been others as well. And we could have had, if the promises that were made to us were kept, even in the tiniest degree, the right to make our private decision as to which of these people was the appropriate person to elect, and to make a private, secret decision on their merits or demerits as we saw them individually. But that was taken away from us by a cynical process of abandoning every commitment to reform this House. And so we are now in a position, unlike Dáil Éireann, we are now in a position that we have to decide on this matter subject to the party whip by a public vote and in a process which is wholly unacceptable. It doesn't happen in Westminster, it doesn't happen in Dáil Éireann, and it wasn't going to happen here, only that Leo Varadkar broke his word to this House. So I just want to put all of that on the record, and for that reason to say that although I see the merits of both candidates in this election, for my part, I'm not going to participate in this election as a mark of my rejection of the cynicism that has led us to select our officers in this way, despite all the commitments, all the flowery commitments given on the 1st of February 2018, that was the last occasion on which the officers of this House was going to be elected in this way. Thank you.
I too will take the same position as my colleagues and will not participate in today's election. I find it deeply regrettable that we find ourselves in this situation. We have two excellent candidates. I wasn't aware of Senator Flynn's emergence into the competition until this morning. I had committed to Senator Byrne, a very fine senator, a wonderful parliamentarian, both of them excellent qualities, but we have been thrown into this abyss because of what has happened. I just want to put on the record something. We talk here about parties. We recently went through a count for the Senate seats that we sit in. Nowhere on the ballot paper does it reflect party membership. We are elected, most of us are elected to this House because of the vocational expertise we bring to the House. We are not elected to a geographical area of any sort. We do not represent any geographical area. We represent the vocational panels we have been elected to. We represent the university panels we have been elected to, or we represent the Taoiseach who has nominated 11 people. So we do need, in 2013, before I was a member of this House, I fought to save this House when excellent people like Fergal Quinn, Michael McDougall and various other people were out there fighting to save this House. There was an implicit promise that reform would come. Reform has not come. The public have been cheated. And I think that all of us, it behoves all of us in this House to actually fight for the reform of the Seanad. It is an institution that should perform without party interference at any stage. We are not Dáil members. Most of us that are here do not or should not want to be members of the Dáil. We should want to be here in the reforming House that we're in. And I leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Boyne. Senator Victor Boyne.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Well, members, you know, I share the concerns of my own colleagues here in relation to it. We have two very, very fine candidates, and I mean that sincerely. I have been in this process myself for the job of Cathaoirleach in the previous election, and so I know how it plays out. But I think we have to remind ourselves, particularly now as we start afresh in this Senate, are we committed to its reform? Can we work collectively together, not against each other, but collectively together to support this House and give confidence in this House? I always say to people when I speak in here, I'm not really speaking to the people who are in here because I'm speaking up here, to the people who are listening on Oireachtas television tonight, who are looking in here, who may be on RTE tonight, news bulletin here, talking about what's happening here. Why is it that in Dáil Éireann, up the stairs from here, there was a democratic election process by secret ballot? I'll tell you why. Because the members took it in their hand and they made a decision and they had their standing orders. We have a separate set of standing orders. We, in this side of the House, have fought collectively together to bring reform. We brought many proposals to have a secret ballot, and we said this would come up time and time and time again. But Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the Greens blocked that reform. So are you going to sit here again and nod your heads? Surprise, surprise. Or are you going to stand up here today and give a commitment that you'll go downstairs to your parliamentary party meetings tonight and say it's about time that we brought an element of democracy into the proceedings of the upper house, this House that we are proud to be elected in? And that's the challenge, and that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to go to your parliamentary party meetings when they're next on and make a strong case of conviction that you actually believe we should have a secret ballot, as your counterparts, your colleagues in Dáil Éireann are doing this very afternoon. But no, for some reason, it's not possible. You don't permit it. The party whip structure, the discipline, a so-called discipline, or direction from the party leadership. And I'll finish on this. I believe it is wrong, and I believe we're going to have to learn a lesson. But I'd like to think within days, if not in weeks, we would commit to reforming this House, because people are getting fed up, people outside looking in. And I finish on this. Why is it, for the public who are outside listening in, how can you explain to the public that Dáil Éireann this very afternoon can have a secret ballot to elect its Leas-Chathaoirleach, but in this House, to elect our Leas-Chathaoirleach, it's not permitted? That's not democracy. And I think we need to address it. Not nod our heads, not go on in denial. We can make that change and we can make that decision, and let's take that task on. Thank you.